There is a peculiar kind of betrayal that doesn't come from the outside world. It comes from within. Imagine being handed a detailed map to the life you've always wanted, clear directions to freedom and fulfillment. Yet, every single time you get close to following that path, your own hands crumple the map. Your own feet turn the opposite way. You find yourself whispering, maybe the destination isn't worth it anyway. That is self-sabotage. It's the slow, quiet war we wage on our own potential. Not out of laziness, not because we are broken, but because something deep inside us doesn't believe we deserve to win. At first glance, self-sabotage doesn't look like failure. It often wears the masks of procrastination, of perfectionism, even of sensible logic. I'll do it when the timing is right. I'm just not ready yet. What if I fail? But beneath all these clever, reasonable excuses lies one raw truth. You are afraid. You're afraid of success, afraid of change, afraid of truly being seen. No one is born knowing how to sabotage themselves. It is a learned behavior, a protective mechanism built in childhood. It's often forged in environments where love felt conditional, where success was somehow punished, or where failure became a familiar and therefore safe kind of comfort. Picture growing up in a home where your achievements were ignored, or worse, met with mockery. Or perhaps you learned very early that standing out made you a target. Maybe love only seemed to come when you were quiet, agreeable, and invisible. So what did you learn? You learned that safety lives in staying small. That attention leads to pain. You learn that failure is predictable and familiar, while success is uncertain and utterly terrifying. So, as an adult, you find yourself ruining relationships that feel too good. You quit jobs right before a promotion. You break your own heart because feeling genuine joy starts to feel like a threat to your very identity. This is the paradox of wanting and resisting. Here's the painful paradox. A part of you desperately wants success. It wants love, it wants peace. But another part of you is deeply, subconsciously committed to making sure you never get it. That's the twisted genius of self-sabotage. It operates from a core belief that it is protecting you. It whispers, better to ruin this yourself now than to be blindsided when it falls apart later. It hisses, if you never really try, you can never truly fail. And worst of all, it convinces you that your current state, your pain, your struggle is normal. Because in many ways, your inner saboteur is just trying to keep you safe. Safe from disappointment, from vulnerability, from change. But let's be clear, safe is not the same as being alive. Self-sabotage is not laziness. It's energy, powerful energy, that's been horribly misdirected. When people label themselves as lazy, they often misunderstand what's actually happening. You are not lazy. You are overwhelmed. You are afraid. You are trapped in a cycle of expectations and pressure that your nervous system simply cannot handle. So you freeze. You scroll mindlessly. You distract. You sleep too much. You never begin. Self-sabotage is not a lack of discipline. It is a coping mechanism designed with one purpose: to avoid pain. It's energy turned violently inward, like a storm breaking inside of you. The same immense energy that could build an empire is instead used to build walls around you. Think about the raw vulnerability of showing the world who you truly are, especially if you've spent years, maybe decades, hiding behind masks of politeness, relentless productivity, or impossible perfection. Self-sabotage often appears right at the edge of that exposure. When the job is finally going well, when the relationship starts getting deep and real, when your art is about to be seen, that's when the fear spikes. Because being seen, truly seen, is incredibly risky. What if they judge you? What if they leave? What if you're simply not enough? So, what do? You pull back, you ghost, you miss the deadline, you numb the feeling. Better to disappear than to risk that rejection. But here is the profound tragedy. In your desperate attempt to avoid pain, you end up creating more of it. You choose the comfort of familiar pain. People don't sabotage themselves because they love suffering. They do it because the suffering is familiar. We cling to the pain we know, rather than face the unknown joy that we fear might hurt us even more. It's like living in a prison cell, where the door has been wide open for years, but you're too afraid to walk out because freedom is unfamiliar, uncharted territory. At least the cell is predictable. At least you know the walls. Our brain doesn't primarily seek happiness. It seeks familiarity. It seeks safety. And if pain is all you've ever truly known, then pain becomes your home. One of the sneakiest, most socially acceptable forms of self-sabotage is perfectionism. I'll start when the conditions are perfect. I'll launch my project when it's flawless. I'll speak up when I am 100% ready. But that day never comes. Perfection is the glittering illusion that keeps you frozen in place. It's the excuse that looks virtuous and responsible on the outside, but systematically destroys all your momentum from the inside. Perfectionism isn't about having high standards. It's about the fear of shame, the fear of being seen as flawed. And that fear is the chain that keeps you from ever starting. Self-sabotage wears many clever, convincing disguises. Procrastination, I'll do it tomorrow. But tomorrow becomes a permanent destination. Busyness, I'm just too busy. Yet your schedule is filled with everything except what truly matters to you. Comparison, they're so much better than me, so why even try? Overthinking, what if, what if, what if? Until the moment for action has completely passed. Toxic relationships, unconsciously choosing partners or friends who confirm your deepest, darkest belief that you are not worthy of love. These patterns feel rational, even sensible in the moment, but with a little distance. You'll see the undeniable pattern. Every single time you get close to growth, to a breakthrough, something pulls you back. And often, that something is you. The first and most critical battle is the battle for awareness. You cannot change. What you refuse to admit is happening. If you've ever wondered why your life feels like an endless, frustrating loop, why you keep repeating the same mistakes, attracting the same kinds of people, abandoning the same dreams, it is likely because self-sabotage is running the show from the shadows. But the moment you name the pattern, the moment you recognize it in real time as it's happening, you begin to break its power. The saboteur thrives in silence, in the dark. Shine the light of your awareness on it, and it begins to shrink. One of its most common forms is imposter syndrome. You work hard, you strive, you achieve, and yet a persistent voice inside says, "You're not good enough. You don't deserve this." And instead of stepping fully into your potential, you pull back. You lower your voice, you play small. You wait for someone else to give you permission to be great. But that permission, it never comes from outside. Where does this corrosive self-doubt originate? It often begins in childhood experiences, environments where love felt conditional, where perfection was praised more than sincere effort, or where failure was punished instead of being treated as a natural stepping stone. Over time, a child learns, if I fail, I lose love. And so, to avoid the unbearable pain of rejection, they begin to avoid any real chance of success. This pattern replays in adulthood. Some sabotage their relationships, chasing unavailable partners, or picking fights to prove they're unlovable. Others sabotage their careers, missing key deadlines or avoiding promotions. Not from laziness, but because success feels foreign and unsafe, while failure at least feels like home. Here's the bitter irony. Many people spend their entire lives trying to escape pain, and in their very methods of escape, they recreate that pain again and again. So, how do we escape this self-made trap? The first step is not immediate action. It is compassionate observation. You have to become a detective of your own life. Watch how you behave when things start to go well. Do you suddenly self-destruct? Do you mysteriously get sick right before something important? Do you push people away the moment they get too close? That's not a coincidence. That's programming. That's self-sabotage showing its face. But here is the essential truth. You will never fully defeat self-sabotage by fighting it as an enemy. You have to seek to understand it. Self-sabotage is not a villain. It is a wounded protector. It's a part of you that learned, long ago, how to cope, how to survive, and how to shield you from pain. Maybe it helped you once, but now its methods are outdated, like an armor you have outgrown. To move forward, you need to talk to that part of yourself with compassion, not judgment. Say to it, I say you. I know you're trying to protect me, but I am not that scared child anymore. I don't need you to destroy my chances in order to keep me safe. I can handle failure. I can survive rejection. I can live with being seen. Because that is the truth. You are not fragile. You've just been told you are. The next step is rewriting your beliefs. If you subconsciously believe you are undeserving, you will unconsciously find ways to make that belief a reality. So you must confront those beliefs hidden. Where did they come from? Who taught you that success was dangerous? Who made you feel small? Ask these questions, and then deliberately break the spell. Rewrite the story. I am allowed to be happy. I am not a fraud. I am capable, even when I'm scared. I am worthy of love and success, even when I am not perfect. Repetition is key. Your subconscious mind needs time to rewire. But words alone are not enough. You must take small, aligned actions that directly contradict your old identity. Send that scary email. Ask that uncomfortable question. Show up, even when you feel completely inadequate. Do this not to prove your worth, but to remind yourself, I am allowed to show up messy and imperfect, and I still deserve good things. Every single act of courage chips away at the structure of self-sabotage, not because the fear disappears, but because you learn to move forward despite it. Also, understand this crucial point. Self-sabotage thrives in isolation. The more you keep your struggles and pain to yourself, the more power they hold over you. Find your people, those who understand. Share your journey. Let others mirror back your strength and worth on the days when you cannot see it in yourself. And perhaps the most important tool of all is self-forgiveness. Because once you realize just how much damage you've unwittingly caused yourself, it's frighteningly easy to fall into another trap, shame. But shame is just another, more subtle form of sabotage. It keeps you stuck in the past. So forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for the missed opportunities, the relationships you let falter, the years you spent hiding. You did what you could with the tools and understanding you had at the time. And now, you are learning to do better. Every new moment is a new choice, a new door, a new possibility. Your past was written in stone, but your future, that is still wet ink. You get to decide how this story unfolds from here. And when you feel that familiar pull, the hesitation, the urge to retreat into old, comfortable patterns, pause, breathe, and remember this: self-sabotage is not a sign that you are broken. It is a sign that you are ready to grow. because only people who are on the very verge of profound transformation feel this kind of intense internal resistance. It's not a wall meant to stop you. It is a threshold. Walk through it. And as you do, tell yourself, I am not my fears. I am not my past. I am not my self-sabotage. I am in the process of becoming. And becoming is always messy, but it is always worth it.